What's up, dude? I'm gonna check out this interview with Brian Taft, full interview with Kamala Harris. Just want to see what she's talking about. This took place right after the Trump debate.
Okay, wonderful. Good. Awesome. Madam Vice President, pleasure to meet you. Thanks for
Good
your
to meet
time
you,
today. Our
Brian.
audience appreciates your time as
Of
well.
course.
As you know, we're sitting here in a state and arguably in front of an audience that 54 days from now could decide the outcome of this presidential election.
Yeah.
You hear it more than I do. People want to know more about you and about your specific plans. At the debate the other night, you talked about creating an opportunity economy. I wonder if we can drill down on that a little bit. When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people,
Yeah.
what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard.
All right, first off, she's doing it again. She's doing it again. Every time she's asked that question about the economy, the first thing she does is start off with, I was raised in a middle class family. Truth is, she doesn't know the answer. And if you want to know the truth, this Bidenomics stuff, she's the one that she was the deciding vote in Bidenomics. So everything that's going on is because of that. It's why she doesn't know the answer. But she does this every time. Look at the Donald Trump interview with ABC. Every single time.
She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager. I grew up in a community of hardworking people, construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people who may not have had the same experience, but a lot of people will relate to this. I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn, you know?
What? Did she just say she's very proud of her lawn? Or she knew people that was very proud of her lawn? Hey man, I think that's being real specific, isn't it? I mean, look, guys, it's not overselling to say I'm horrible at articulating myself sometimes, but she takes the cake.
And, um, and I was raised to believe and to know that all people deserve dignity. And that we as Americans have a beautiful character. We have ambitions and aspirations and dreams, but not everyone necessarily has access to the resources that can help them fuel those dreams and ambitions. So when I talk about building an opportunity economy, it is very much with the mind of investing in the ambitions and aspirations and the incredible work ethic of the American people, and creating opportunity for people, for example, to start a small business. My mother, worked long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small business owners. I learned who
Please
they
stop
are
babbling and just
from my
answer the
childhood. And
question for
she
once.
was a community leader. She hired locally. She mentored. Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think, the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000. But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it. Um,
You know, the problem with that is under her deciding vote for Bidenomics, you're trying to help startup businesses, but how many businesses are closing down now, specifically because of her policies? And this guy's throwing her softball questions. I mean, she she's really dodging these bullets, actually, because they're not shooting. And YouTube, what I mean by that is they're not really giving her, they're not drilling her on the questions that I think voters need to know.
Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America. We have a housing supply shortage. And what that means, in particular for so many younger Americans, The American dream is elusive. It's just actually not attainable. So part of my plan is to work with the private sector and housing developers to give them a tax credit, to be able to partner with us as the government to build, and my goal is 3 million new homes by the end of my first term. In addition, to help people who just want to get their foot in the door, literally. And so giving first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance to be able to just get in the door, and then they will do the work that they need to do to save and to pay that mortgage and to build wealth for themselves and their family. These are some examples of what I mean when I talk about an opportunity economy, and a lot of it has to do with just the community I was raised in and the people that I admired, who work hard, and deserve to have, their dreams fulfilled because they're.
She's full of it, man. Jesus Christ. If anybody could just look at her, she's not even answering that question. She consistently dodges questions. Your opportunity economy, you're the cause of this. The last 3.5 years, your economy hasn't been anything. If everything's gone up, hell, we went to the store, eggs were $18 for 36. I mean, there is no opportunity. You are in power now. And let's face facts here. I'm pretty sure Biden's not running the country. He can't even see straight.
They're prepared to work for it.
You talked at the debate and at previous appearances about turning the page on the past. And in fact, here today in Johnstown, you're talking about a new way forward.
Yeah.
I think some people have a question, given maybe your current role as Vice President of the United States, how different you are from Joe Biden. And so I wonder if there are one or two spots,
I like the way he put that,
policy
your
areas
current
or
role.
approaches where you would say, I'm a different person.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden. And, I offer a new generation of leadership. And so.
All right, I have to pause it here. I don't know what you're talking about. You have to offer a new generation. You're currently in power now. And everyone's trying to make it seem like they're almost trying to make it portray that Trump is the one that's in office and you're trying to come in. No, you're the incumbent. You're the one that's currently in power. There is no generational gap there because bottom line is you're a carbon copy of Joe Biden. You agreed to all his policies. You were the deciding vote on a lot of his policies. So everything that's happening now and 3.5 years prior, she's the one to blame. And people are still falling for it. You're still falling for it.
So, for example, thinking about developing and creating an opportunity economy where it's about
You just repeated yourself.
investing in areas that really need a lot of work, and maybe focusing on, again, the aspirations and the dreams, but also just recognizing that at this moment in time, some of the stuff we could take for granted years ago, we can't take for granted anymore. For example,
Yeah,
another
means we can't have you in
plan
power
that
for
I
another
have
4 years.
that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families for the first year of their child's life, because that is obviously a very critical stage of development of a child. And a lot of young parents need the help to buy a car seat or a crib or clothes for their kids. And so my approach is about new ideas, new policies that are directed at the current moment. And also, to be very honest with you, my focus is very much in what we need to do over the next 10, 20 years.
So the question really should be, if I was the moderator, why haven't you done it now? If you think during the Trump interview, what did he say? Why don't you go to the White House, wake up everybody that's there, and start implementing the plans now? You still have, what, another 6 months? Why haven't you done it now? The truth, because you're the one that created all this. And if she gets in the office, she's not changing it. It's just going to get worse. And all the rich people like Taylor Swift and all these millionaires, do you honestly think it bothers them? They don't have to go grocery shopping. They don't have to go to a 9 to 5 job, live paycheck to paycheck. Hell, they're sitting high. So her little bullshit policies doesn't affect them at all. So they could sit there and say, yeah, I'm endorsing her. And then the puppets that follow these millionaires, just do your research and make wise choices. Because this right here, you can't have her sitting in the Oval Office again.
To catch up to the 21st century around, again, capacity, but also challenges.
Crime and public safety are
He
two
looks like
major
he's like,
issues
oh, okay,
right at
right.
the forefront of voters' minds. In Philadelphia as well, where crime is a significant issue. When we talk about crime, the conversation turns to gun safety as well. And I think you actually probably caught a lot of people off guard, maybe a bit by surprise in the debate the other night when you mentioned that you are a gun owner. I know you said it in 2019 as well. I want to talk about your values on this issue. When it comes to gun ownership, where do you draw the line in America on gun ownership and gun use?
Well, like you said, Brian, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz, my running mate, is also a gun owner. We're not taking anybody's guns away. I support the Second Amendment, and I support reasonable gun safety laws. Part of my approach to this is I was a career prosecutor for most of my career. I have
Oh,
personally
jeez.
prosecuted homicide cases. I have personally looked at autopsies. I have personally seen what assault weapons do to the human body. And so I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need an assault weapons ban. They're literally.
See, there it is. There it is. There it is. First, you hit us with the I'm a gun owner. Oh, but we need an assault weapons ban. No, you don't. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And if a person wants to do something violent and atrocious, you can get a gun off the street faster than you can walk into your academy and get one. So this is all about control. I firmly believe that.
Literally tools of war. They were literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly.
Isn't all firearms designed to kill, to hunt? Shit, back in the days, swords were used to kill. I don't see no one banning knives.
I say we need universal background checks. The majority of NRA members support that. Why? Because it's just reasonable. You just might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You just might want to know.
All right, on that note, guys, I think the American people just might want to know who they're voting for because she's not what she's trying to portray. She can't answer normal questions. She doesn't have anyone that's pressing her for these answers. She's the one currently in power, so if you really want to look at it, I guess you could see what she's about. But point being, we just might want to know, since you put it so eloquently.
Two final questions, if I might.
Sure.
On the appeal of the man you were running against, as you drove here today, you likely saw a lot of Trump signs. He has an historic appeal in this country. And as you are someone running against him and trying to understand that, I wonder how you distill it. What do you understand his appeal to be? And how do you speak to his voters? Or maybe people who just share his values but are open to something else?
I, based on experience and a lived experience, no. In my heart, I know. In my soul, I know that the vast majority of us as Americans have so much more in common than what separates us. And I also believe that I am accurate in knowing that most Americans want a leader who brings us together as Americans and not someone who professes to be a leader who is trying to have us point our fingers at each other.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys, if I pause too much. You know what I mean? Because I just have to interject myself in this. But we know that she's actually talking about herself and the Democratic Party. At the DNC, all they did was talk about Trump, villainize him. They talk about Trump supporters, villainizing Trump supporters, American citizens that are just trying to vote for who they feel is the best candidate. The American way, true democracy. You vote for who you want to vote for. But they constantly villainize them, saying that people like Trump are a threat to democracy, a threat to the world. When he was in office, the world wasn't going to war like this. And an average citizen was sure doing a hell of a lot better financially. But they're the ones pointing the finger. She villainizes them a lot. In addition to what? Obama's and Clinton's and everyone else. So now that I think about it, everything that they say about Trump or say about the right, left, however you want to call it, they're actually talking about themselves. They do it and then make it look like they're the ones doing it. They say things and do things, create division. They create division among and they label everybody in their individual groups and then make it sound like, hey, Trump wants to do this, Trump wants to do that. He wants to take your rights. He wants to do this. Vote for us because we'll stop it. She's basically talking about herself.
I think people are exhausted with that approach, to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
we really are exhausted.
I think people want a leader who has common sense and tries to find common ground. I'm supported by over 200 Republicans
I
who worked for both Presidents Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney. I'm supported by the former Vice President Dick Cheney, former Congress member
He was a
Liz
nut
Cheney.
job, by the way.
And I think people are more willing now, in light of the hate and division that we see coming out of Donald Trump, to say, hey, let's put country first.
I I could actually agree with Kamala Harris on that, guys. Finally, something we could agree on. Let's put the country first. Hey, wait a minute. I don't see anyone saying, hey, that's a racist and terrorist. You know how they view MAGA? Make America great? Isn't that the same as put our country first? Help me out here, guys. Is there something I'm missing here?
And I think that just makes us stronger and more healthy as a country, to say, look, we can all debate our differences around, you know, various policies,
You
but
won't debate on neutral ground.
let's stop with the division. Like, enough of that. Let's bring everybody together.
And finally, as you introduce yourself to America in a new way, they've heard much of your story at the Democratic National Convention.
Guys, it's not a new way. You see that softball you just threw at her? You're introducing yourself to the country in a new way. First of all, you're not introducing yourself. Nobody cares about you eating Cheetos or Doritos, whatever it is she ate. She's not new. She's in power. She's currently in power. And she's been in power the last 3.5 years, and it's been chaos. And you're right, Americans are sick and tired of it. The people who are undecided, all you have to do is you research. She just talked about hate and division. I don't want to repeat myself on it, but it's amazing how she gets on here over and over. And what he says about Trump, it's actually her. It's actually the Dems. They're the ones creating the hate and the division so that people can be divided and they could portray themselves as good versus evil. And if you think about it, it's actually a genius move. Good versus evil, right? Some people choose evil, so 99% of the people are going to want to vote for good, right? But sometimes it's the devil in the background that you're voting for.
In that debate earlier this week, if there's one thing that you wish Americans knew about who Kamala Harris is that you don't think they know yet, What would
And they
that
don't
be?
know a lot.
I don't know. I mean, probably it's not very different from anybody watching right now. I love my family. Um, One of my favorite things that I lately have not been able to do is Sunday family dinner. I love to cook. Um,
Yeah, that's what we need in a
I
president.
have incredible friends. My best friend from kindergarten is still my best friend. Um, I think that, I mean, I have a career that really, and I said it the other day, you know, as a career prosecutor, I never asked a victim of crime, were they a Republican or a Democrat. The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay?
I'm pausing for the last time, guys, but you know what? She keeps speaking on her prosecutor days. You know, if you go back and do the research, you'll see that her days as a prosecutor was interesting at best. She put a lot of people away for small stuff like having a marijuana joint and let out murderers. So, my brain scrambled egg.
And I think that's the approach that most Americans want, regardless of who they voted for in the last election, in
They
terms of
voted for you,
turning the
moron.
page and charting the way forward.
I imagine you're looking forward to cooking Sunday dinner again.
I am looking forward. Yes, I am looking forward to cooking with the whole family.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I got to stop it. This video's done. You know what? Bottom line is she's obnoxious. I'm sorry. You don't have to like what I'm saying. There's a little X on the tab. You could just hit that and it's done with. She's obnoxious. She doesn't know the answers. She keeps making it seem like she's fresh and new, joyful. You're the one that's in power now, and you've been in power. Yes, we do want to change. And if you want to talk about uniting the country, why don't you be a real leader since you actually are the current vice president? We are all Americans before we're all Democrats and Republicans. But they don't see it that way. And if everybody's seen that, maybe we could actually communicate better. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this. I'm new to the channel. If you like it and want to see more videos, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will be putting out more videos. See you next time.